Okay guys, welcome to another episode of Impact. We got 32 days before the pay-per-view, and I gotta tell you this. If you haven't seen my channel, I believe I have settled on the name. Confusing. I know we got 32 days before the pay-per-view, and there's still plenty of time to build into the pay-per-view, but as it stands, this is my thought. This is how I feel. I've heard some of the rumors that some of the talent from Impact, their contracts are coming up. Right around this time, either now or just before Bound for Glory. So I don't know exactly who, but I do know that several talent might not resign, or they want to renegotiate, and this feels like they left things open-ended on purpose. We know this is taped weeks ahead of time, so it's a good possibility people have resigned or people are not going to sign, and they just left this so open-ended it feels disjointed to me personally. I'm going to say the ending of the show as the opening because it should have opened the show. This is Tenille Dashwood versus Jordynne Grace. Now, I know some people are going to say, what are you talking about? Why would you open with Tenille Dashwood and Jordynne Grace? Well, here's the thing. We're not doing anything with Deonna Purrazzo right now. Kimber Lee and Deonna Purrazzo, they have their thing going on. Susie and Kylie Rae have their thing going with those two. So we're not going to see anything dealing with Jordynne Grace and dealing with it just makes better sense to put these women in the beginning of the show. I'm not taking anything away from Tenille. I like Tenille. And I love Jordynne Grace. I would marry the woman. She's so damn good looking. To me personally, yeah, she could break my back with the muscles she got. Because she's probably more stronger than I am. But it feels like they should have opened the show with this. Or at least be in the middle of the show, not end it. Because it really didn't give us anything at the ending of the show. It left it blank. I'm sorry guys, it did. It didn't give me any suspense for the next show. It just didn't. You want to make your show, your promotion interesting week by week and do something at least to build into next week. Yes, we got a lot of content for next week. But sometimes you need to give us a little bit more at the end of the show. Sometimes, not every time. But when you see the Caleb with a K, Caleb Connery, and I believe Caleb Connery is actually, I could be wrong, you guys can tell me below. I do believe Caleb Connery is dating Tenille Dashwood, if I remember correctly. I do believe they're in a relationship together. So they're a couple. And you put them together, which is not a bad thing. They're in my face. I believe I got that shot of him taking a shot after the match was over. The match itself was good. I'm not against either one of them. But I do not believe it was the wisest thing to do with closing the show with them. I just don't agree with it. In the end, Tenille gets help from Caleb with a K. She wins, and then the only thing she does is pose at the end of the show. I'm just saying. It didn't need to be there. Now, we got, and I was just talking about them, Kimber Lee versus Susie. Now, this is supposed to add on to what happened last week because the faces won. Now we got this. Now, it's been a while since Susie has been Su Yung. And you've been wondering, I'm sure more than a few people, when are we going to get the Undead Bride back? Because even though we do like Susie, I like Susie. It's an interesting dynamic for her. I'm sure this has to be something new and interesting for her, even though it's been going on for I don't know how many months. It hasn't been bad, but eventually Su Yung has to come back. Because we know Su Yung as a character is better than Susie. She just is. And during the match, there were a few moments that you saw Su Yung exert herself. Eventually, the kill switch, well, not the kill switch, I forgot the name of it, but essentially Su Young's move, I don't know why I said kill switch, unless it is. But basically, Susie did Su Young's move. She's all beginning to freak out, and it's Kylie Rae that reins her back to try and keep her calm, try to keep her under control. Good. And you got Deonna Purrazzo going in and trying to wipe them both out, and pretty much you got, it's understandable she had to make the announcement now, Kylie. And I'm glad she did. But now you wonder what's going to happen with Susie. Because you see in the background, Susie's beginning to show Su Yung tendencies. And let me paint just as calm. Let me paint you a picture. Up next year, maybe Slammiversary, you have Su Yung versus Kylie Rae for the Knockouts title. They do a full circle when Kylie becomes friends with Susie, and becomes friends with Susie, and then Susie becomes Su Yung again, and then she wants the title. They're no longer friends, and you have that match. Now, I would rather see it here at Bound for Glory, but if they're not going to go there, now, hopefully they will do it at next year's Slammiversary. Build into it. And I know a lot of people are going to say that's a long time to wait. Well, what do you want? They don't have that many pay-per-views. Unless you are trying to build for it now, what do you think is going to happen? There's two things that could happen when it comes to Susie. Susie will be built up enough that they will do something at maybe Genesis. I wish they would bring back Genesis. Then you could do it there in January. But I doubt they'll bring that back. Or Slammiversary, which will probably be what they're going to probably do if they book it. So when you see this, my guess is this. Su Yung will fully exert herself at Bound for Glory. And then weeks later, we're going to have Su Yung versus Kylie Rae. Or maybe a month or two. It counts on if they actually decide to build up into it instead of just rushing into it. And like they've done for years, blow their load so quickly. I'm hoping they'll do this, but I don't know. Now, we got the funniest segment of the entire damn show. Heath. The new advertisement after they stole Hernandez's money. They got, this is kind of, let me get you this. I think they kind of took a little poke at WWE. Because yes, if you haven't heard, WWE does not want any of their talent using their name on their own time. In other words, if it's not related to the WWE directly, they're not allowed to use the name like Biggie Langston or Big E or Kofi Kingston's own name. Well, not Kofi Kingston. That's the name he got for WWE. But if Kofi used his own name, or Xavier Woods used his name, instead of like Austin Creed, he used up, down, down of Xavier Woods, he would have to stop using it. If he didn't, he would lose his ability and get himself in big trouble and even get fired. So a lot of the talent can no longer use their name. Many people have been using their name on Twitch, and many names have been used on Cameo. And they used Cameo for this situation when it came to the Hoff. And I believe that was the he's in my face, unless I'm wrong. That is Michael Knight himself, the Hoff. Then they got Flavor Flav. Then they got a few more people going in this situation. Really? They went down the route of going to Cameo to get people to pretty much sponsor them on Impact Wrestling, which is fine. But it was so damn stupid. It even reached the point when you got Rhino. Rhino looked like he was reading off of a cue card. And I think he was doing it on purpose to make it feel like a damn service announcement. It was freaking funny, and I liked it. The question's going to be, how long will it be? Even D'Lo Brown. I think I got a shot of D'Lo. He's there. Now, they're trying to really push Heath, which is good. They're making it interesting, trying to make it something. But I gotta say this, honestly, this isn't the first time they tried this. WWE tried to make him interesting. But at least they're doing it in a way that makes him look better than he would be if he was on SmackDown or Raw, getting his ass whooped. In many cases, not winning anything, and then getting a job out of pity. That's just me, you guys. Tell me below. We got Brian Miles. Let me put it like this. When it came to him and his segment and his interview and the segment with Tommy, was it better than dealing with Willie Mack? Yes, it was, because those two actually have a history. Because Brian Myers was actually hired by Tommy Dreamer. And I kind of wish that that's what they started with, than actually having him do that. Now, I can understand they had to give him some wins, and yes, he did lose once. But I think, I really feel like they should have started with Tommy, because the story would make sense. Tommy brought him into WWE. Tommy's there, And he's happy he's there, but then he starts acting out and Tommy's telling him, look, what are you doing? Stop. I hired you for the WWE. I know you got a chip on your shoulder. I know how pissed you are because of it. But if you keep this up, it's going to make problems. I think they could have built up into him going to Bound for Glory with Tommy. Because then it would make better sense than working with Willie Mack. And I'm not taking anything from Willie. I'm just not. Here's something that really made no sense whatsoever. Which shows you that Sami Callihan is floating. Sami versus RVD. Stipulation. If RVD wins, Katie Forbes gets 5 minutes with Sami in the ring. What? Think about this for a minute. Sami Callihan gets his butt beat by RVD. Unless he's totally incapacitated. And if he wasn't incapacitated, you got Katie Forbes going in there and having 5 minutes with him. You can see them in my face. I believe I got a shot, at least one shot. I don't know what I'm going to use. It's stupid. This was the stupidest thing. 100%. One, they could have saved this for the pay-per-view. They could have built up into it, and the stipulation could have been that Katie Forbes would get 5 minutes in the ring with Sami Callihan while he's handcuffed. While he's blindfolded. While his hands are tied behind his back. While she has a kendo stick while he's tied up. And he had to take a whipping. Something better than this. This was beyond dumb. And in the end, yes, RVD won. But then guess what? Sami got attacked, but it didn't really mean much. Because in the end, he did rally and then it didn't really mean anything. This just shows you how they don't care about Sami right now. Look, if you guys don't think he's a main event player, fine. But I see it like this. There are very few people that are in the main event. And there have been more than at least 1 or 2 of my subscribers that keep saying they need people in the main event. They got no one in the main event. They got no one in the exhibition. Well, guess what? You're right. But understand this. If they're not going to hire new people to take the spot in the main event, they got to use established stars. Sami's one of them. He's in my face. He was on my shoulder, now he's in my face. Now he's on my shoulder again. He literally bent his ass over for a Tessa Blanchard, and she stuck a cattle prod up his freaking ass to get everything she wanted out of him. He talked the way she needed. He wrestled the way she needed. He put her over numerous times. And in the end, what did we get from her getting the moment to become champion? She leaves. It hurts the company. And since then, I don't care if Sami rather be in the main middle card or the lower card. I don't care what card he wants to be in. He needs to be in the main title scene because there's no one left. We have a very small amount of people in the X Division, and we have no one in the main title. And anyone in between is doing tag matches. You guys tell me I'm wrong. Because I don't think you will disagree with me. Let's move on. Alright, EC3 had his moment. He's still cutting these great vignettes. I love it. I adore it. Now the question's going to be, control your narrative. What are they going to do with Bound for Glory? Will he destroy that title, or will he keep the title and start trying to defend it? That's going to be the question for me personally. It could be something else. You guys tell me below what you think he should do at Bound for Glory, because that's what's leading. Bound for Glory, he is going to do something with Moose. The question is going to be, will he destroy it in front of Moose and everybody, or will he keep it and defend it? That's going to be the question. Now, we had... When it comes to both Deaners getting destroyed by Eric Young destroyed their asses. Eric Young did not use anything but his own freaking muscles and his belt, and he whooped the ass of both of them. He destroyed them. He annihilated them. He blamed Scott for it. He blamed Eddie for it. He blamed Rich for it. Great. I enjoyed it. Then Eddie comes out trying to beat him up. Limping. Good. Now Scott screamed at by Eddie, I want a title. I owed a title match. I want my title. I'm owed a match. Why did you give it to Rich? And he said, at Victory Road, you will get your shot. Now, that's supposed to be October 3rd, a couple of weeks from now. Is it like, what is it? Like a week or two from now. There's going to be Victory Road. I don't know if I'm going to see it. I might. You guys tell me below if you want me to do a review of Victory Road. But now it's like, admittedly, the build for Eric Young, EY, it's been so good. And now see him going up against Eddie at Victory Road makes me a little weary. Because they must get it done right. They must make Eddie be destroyed by him. So when he deals with Rich, he'll be unstoppable. He needs that. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. Finally, the match. There wasn't that much here. Match of the night. The triple threat. The Smooth Criminal. The... Let me put it to you like this. This should have been at the end of the show. Number 1 contenders match for Raju's X Division title. Going, hopefully, into Bound for Glory. You got D. Chris Bay. You got TJP. And you got Trey from the Rascals. Was it a bad match? It was a bit telegraphed. They really were holding their spots a lot more. This is one of the problems when it comes to high flyers. A lot of times they have to wait for their partner to get in position. And then they got to stand for a few seconds and look frozen. It looks very telegraphed. I don't hate it. But I think sometimes if you do too much of it, it looks bad. It just looks bad. And throughout some parts of the match, I think they really wasn't balanced very well. So in the end, what we got was an okay match. And it's Trey who gets it instead of Chris Bay or TJP. Is what you get. And then worse. I thought the number 1 contendership was going to be at Bound for Glory. Nope. It was right after the match. And it was a quick roll-up, grabbing at the tights. I believe I got that shot and it's in my face. And that's the end of it. Done. Finished. Kaput. You see Raju in my face. Rohit Raju. A guy that I always felt deserved better. Now, is he doing what the chicken shit heel would do? Yes. Is he doing it great? It's okay. But here's the thing. What does this give us? It's confusing. You need matches for Bound for Glory. You only got 1 match booked for Bound for Glory. Why wouldn't it be better to build up with Trey and Raju at Bound for Glory? Because the way it looks to me, because now Raju won, even if it was a cheat, they may do an X Division Fatal 4-Way or an Ultimate X match. That's the way I feel they're going to set it up. They couldn't do something better than this. They couldn't just save it and make it mean something. No, they make Raju win for a roll-up. I'm not fond of all of this show. I know I could talk about Rosemary when it came to Taya, and I'm leaving that. Especially what happened with Bravo getting the people set up for the wedding. I'm not fond of the wedding, so I'm leaving it and seeing how well they're going to be building a little bit more, because I have a feeling they're going to do it either before Bound for Glory or on Bound for Glory. I will not be happy about that, but this is what we're going to have. I'll say this was an okay show. You could watch it, but I'm not going to lie to you. There's things in here that are very confusing that should never been happening. But it's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.